This allowed Xianxia to fly even faster. He did not know the reason why, but only these beasts could fly, such as the great rock from before. After a few days of flight, Oxhead Mountain was getting closer and closer. It was just ahead of them. Poison Woman, is there anything dangerous on Oxhead Mountain? Although Xianxia asked this, he had already hidden himself and landed on Oxhead Mountain. It should be safer. The most dangerous creatures in the Blood Mud Plains are the various ancient beasts that are hidden under the blood mud. Fengyuan coldly snorted. Don't go in if you're afraid of death. How could I be afraid of death? Xianxia had already entered Oxhead Mountain. Fengyuan also didn't know how Xianxia came to Oxhead Mountain so quickly. It was because the last time she came, it took her a very long time, but it had only been a few days. Hurry up and tell me where you obtained the space inheritance. Xianxia said. I will guide you to a mountain cave, and then you will walk to the deepest part of the mountain cave. There is a stone room there, and that is where I obtained the inheritance. Fengyuan immediately told Xianxia the details. Even though Oxhead Mountain was very big, it was still very easy to find a mountain cave. Furthermore, Xianxia could fly, so he quickly found a small mountain cave that he could only enter by himself. This was just as Fengyuan said. It was proof that Fengyuan had been here before. When entering, Xianxia had to be extremely careful, because he could not trust Fengyuan, as she hated him a lot. When I first went in, the road would be a bit narrow, but it would become wider and wider later on. Fengyuan said, when you go in, you should be careful. There might be something hidden inside. I haven't been here for years, and I can't guarantee that it will be the same. In case you say I'm being sneaky. Fengyuan was still a little worried that Xianxia would run into something. When the time came, Xianxia would vent his anger on her and use torture on her. I know. I don't need you to remind me. Xianxia had already become a little mouse, and even became invisible, which made him safer. This passage was very deep, and it had indeed become much more spacious at the back. On the way, Xianxia did not encounter anything along the way, as he had already arrived at the stone room that Fengyuan had mentioned. After arriving at the stone room, Xianxia took out a glowing stone to light up the room. He looked at the walls of the stone room and saw many Tao Creations incantations. All of these Tao Creations incantations were the third layer of the Tao Creations incantation. It was the space mantra. Xianxia released Fengyuan and asked, is it here? Yes, here it is. Fengyuan frowned. He walked to the side of the stone wall and touched the Tao Creation incantations. Strange. These Tao Creation incantations are a little different. It's not the same anymore? You recognize the Tao Creation incantation? Xianxia said in shock. Although I have not comprehended the Tao Creation's incantation, I still remember that there have been some changes. Fengyuan frowned as he pondered. He pointed to another stone wall and said, when I came here before, I accidentally placed my hand on that stone wall. Then, the space Holy Soul fused with me. Xianxia also walked over and placed his hands on it. Just as his hands touched it, his body couldn't help but tremble, and the space Holy Soul inside the divine sensei also started to jump fiercely. After Fengyuan saw it, she was also very surprised. So many years had passed and it was still effective. She anxiously walked over and pressed her hands on the stone wall, releasing a strange and familiar feeling. Xianxia also did not understand what happened. In that instant, he suddenly knew how to use the power of space. It was all from that split second of inheritance. He looked at Fengyuan, who was at the side, and was shocked. Fengyuan was also receiving the inheritance. Very quickly, Fengyuan moved his hands away from the stone wall, and a light flashed across his eyes. What happened to you just now? Xianxia asked anxiously. You have to be more honest. I got another space Holy Soul. Fengyuan raised his head and said, what? You want to devour my space Holy Soul again? Come on. What's going on? Could it be that there are a lot of space Holy Soul inside? At this time, Xianxia's space Holy Soul had already reached its limit. If it was any more consumed, it might cause other problems, so he did not dare to attempt it. There are only 2 space Holy Soul inside. The last one was absorbed by me just now. He Fengyuan patted the stone wall again. This place is filled with space mantra, and they are all being used extremely well. Xianxia immediately took out the 6 realms mirrors, and used a mirror to look at the mature space mantra, and stored it inside the 6 realms mirrors. He Fengyuan never thought that Xianxia actually did not plan to devour her space holy soul. Although she had obtained the space holy soul, her divine sense was already severely damaged, and the otherworld-defying holy soul she owned had also suffered heavy injuries. She did not know when they would recover, but she was still a cripple. "You bastard!" He Fengyuan was so angry that he could not help but curse. "All right, now that you've helped me obtain the secret method to use the power of space, I'll let you go." Xianxia laughed. "You are leaving? You can't leave me here. Send me back." He Fengyuan only had the body of someone at the peak of Aoshi holy stage, and in this place she was extremely weak. "I'm not going back yet," Xianxia said. "I want to continue looking for things here. I didn't say that I would send you back, right? You demon, what do you want to do?" He Fengyuan was anxious. She did not want to follow Xianxia at all. It would only make her angry. "I might not go. There should be a transmission array in the Bloody Plains. After I find it, I will activate it and leave." Xianxia said, "If you don't mind, you can come with me. I don't feel like running around randomly with you. You are someone who has been targeted by the dragon controlling palace. You will get into trouble sooner or later." He Fengyuan snorted. He angrily stomped his feet. Just as she stomped her foot, she stepped on a rock and it sank in. After the stone sank, a screen of light immediately appeared on the stone wall. "So there's a trap here." Xianxia was overjoyed and laughed. "Do you want to follow me in to take a look?" I want to get inside that thing." He Fengyuan pointed at the 6 realms mirrors. She felt that it was safer to stay inside. After Xianxia placed her into the 6 realms mirrors, he passed through the light barrier on the stone wall, and then went into another stone room. This transmission array was set up by the super young old ancestor. He could recognize the style, but what gave him a headache was most of the transmission array seemed to be destroyed, and many of the array patterns seemed to have been destroyed. Xianxia wasn't proficient in array formations. When he saw how severely the array had been damaged, he was worried, as he was certain that it was left behind by the super young old ancestor. "Have you been here before?" Xianxia looked at He Fengyuan. Because only He Fengyuan knew about this place, it was very possible that it was destroyed by He Fengyuan. "How could it be me? I only found out about this place now." Seeing that Xianxia suspected her, He Fengyuan was very angry and rolled his eyes at her. "Then who destroyed it? Just how much hatred do you have? You have already destroyed more than half of the transmission array." Xianxia gritted his teeth in anger. If it was not destroyed, he could have activated the transmission array now. "Where can this transmission array take you? Why do you care so much?" He Fengyuan observed carefully from the stone room, and when he saw Xianxia's flustered and exasperated look, he could tell how important this transmission array was to Xianxia. "I can go to Tao Creation Place," Xianxia said. "Tao Creation Place? The top layer? You're crazy!" He Fengyuan shouted in shock. "There are even more dragon-controlling gods above us. If you go up there, you will be courting death. Don't worry about me. I'm not afraid of those guys." Xianxia snorted, and then let Feng Kuer, who was from the Yu Yao Mountain Villa out. He Fengyuan still wanted to say a few more words, but when he saw a cute little girl who was carved from jade running out, he couldn't help but be shocked. "Is this your daughter?" He Fengyuan stared at Feng Kuer. "No, you wicked woman. Do not have any ideas about her." Xianxia saw that He Fengyuan was staring at him and anxiously warned him. "Humph. I'm just looking at them a few more times." He Fengyuan let out a light snort. At this time, he was carefully inspecting the destroyed spirit grain, but he did not notice the look in He Fengyuan's eyes. After a while, Feng Kuer frowned and said, "Most of these runes are Tao Creation's incantation. I don't understand the 3rd stage of space mantra." He Fengyuan never thought that this little girl actually knew how to set up arrays. She seemed to be extremely proficient in it. If not, she would not have realized so easily that the runes on the array were the Tao Creation incantation. If you master the third stage of space mantra, can you repair it? Xianxia asked. Of course you can. Feng Kuo was very confident. It was just that it would take her a long time to learn the third stage of the Tao Creation's incantation. Xianxia thought about it and decided to let Feng Kuo learn and comprehend the third stage of the Tao Creation's incantation inside the time domain. Feng Kuo had already mastered a small portion of the first stage of the Tao Creation's incantation. If she was given more time, she would quickly learn the first stage, and then directly learn the third stage. When Feng Kuo entered the Yuyao Mountain Villa, he released a time domain for Feng Kuo alone. When he comprehended it, he would be extremely enthralled, and could not feel the passage of time, so he did not need to worry about being bored. You demon! Why would such a cute little girl follow you? Feng Yuan looked at Xianxia with a questioning gaze. She is a friend of mine, a formation grandmaster. Xianxia scoffed. You wicked woman! Do you have evil intentions towards her? I was just worried that you would kill her. You're the one who's been targeted by the dragon-controlling palace. Feng Yuan leaned against the wall and sat down, looking at the broken transmission array. She really did not think that there would be a transmission array that led to the Tao Creation place. How could a wicked woman like you be so kind? Xianxia curled his lips. Truly unbelievable. Feng Yuan said, Are you sure you want to go to Tao Creation place? That's for sure. I have important things to do, no one can stop me. Said. On one hand, he wanted to help Qin Shuang find the super young old ancestor, and on the other hand, he wanted to look for Peng Profound Phi. You probably think that the dragon-controlling gods is not that powerful, right? Feng Yuan said. No, I've never seen threats. Xianxia said he felt that even if he faced a strong opponent, even if he did not win, he would not be killed, his Six Realms mirrors was still very strong. Xianxia allowed Feng Yuan to enter the Six Realms mirrors, then walked out of the cave. He wanted to walk around and see if he could find any clues. Little bastard. I suspect that the transmission array was intentionally destroyed by the person who laid the formation. Feng Yuan said, I did it so that I wouldn't send people to the Tao Creation place. The people who set up the formation should be Super Young Old Ancestor and Gu Tong. Furthermore, the array requires many Crystal Emperors. Not just anyone can activate the transmission array. Xianxia said, Why didn't they let him go to Tao Creation place? Feng Yuan was speechless for a moment. I just feel that the person who destroyed the transmission array should be proficient in formations, and it's very likely that he came here from that formation and appeared in that stone room, and then you destroyed the transmission array, meaning that this person should still be here. Feng Yuan had another guess. I have the same idea. But who is this person? The reason he destroyed the transmission array since he came here should be because he does not wish for anyone to descend from the Tao Creation place. Xianxia flew above the bloody plains, heading towards the three mountains that were connected together in front of him. In the air outside of the blood mud plains, there were two black armored men riding two huge black horses. The horses they were riding on had black scales and the horses had a bit of a dragon. As for the two black armored men riding the black dragon horse, they too had thick dragon auras and looked extremely powerful. This guy is really high profile, he should already know of our dragon-controlling gods' existence. But he released his dragon aura. Otherwise we would not be able to catch up to him here. I'm really curious about the release of the Killing Evil Dragon. If I can obtain his Killing Evil Dragon, my strength will definitely increase by a lot. A dragon-controlling gods looked towards the distant blood mud plains. Excited. Chu Baoqing, I will give it to you this time. Consider it as repaying your favor. Don't fail. Another dragon-controlling god said. Chu Baoqing laughed out loud. How could I fail? This guy should be a very self-righteous guy. I like to deal with this guy the most, and he definitely doesn't think I'm that good. Luo Junfeng, you should know that I am one of the top 10 youths under the dragon realm back then. That was back then. Luo Junfeng said. Go quickly. I'll wait for you here. I can't wait any longer. After staying in the 5th floor for so many years, I finally met someone who cultivated until the birth of a dragon. Just you wait. Chu Baoqing rode on the black dragon horse and laughed out loud. A shadow appeared in the air and the dragon horse was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, Luo Junfeng could no longer see Chu Baoqing. Chun Xiang had already arrived at the three mountains, but he felt that it was strange that these three mountains would actually grow many trees. Chun Xiang wanted He Fengyuan to come out and take a look, but He Fengyuan refused to come out no matter what. She was afraid of death as her cultivation was destroyed, and if she met any powerful attacks, she would definitely die. Now that she had obtained the Space Holy Soul, she felt that there was hope for her to recover in the future. Was it like this the last time you were here? Chun Xiang asked. No, the last time I was here, the mountains didn't have any trees. I remember it very clearly. He Fengyuan said. The fact that there are trees appearing on these three mountains means that there is something strange up there. You will understand once you take a look. Don't you have big balls? Quickly, go down and take a look. When Chun Xiang got down to the ground, he immediately sensed a very dense life aura. He suspected that there was some strong life force coming from some unknown source, causing this place to be extremely lush and verdant. What exactly is the reason? Chun Xiang floated in the air, wanting to use the Dao Heart Eye to see where the source of the aura was. However, he did not succeed. Just as he was sensing it seriously, he suddenly felt a strong aura coming from the distance. This powerful aura made him shudder. He looked in the direction where the aura came from. There was a black dot there. What fellow is so powerful? Chun Xiang's expression was solemn as he immediately used counterpower invisibility, landing on the mountainside below to retract the power of the red fire dragon. Very quickly, Chun Xiang saw a very large black dragon horse. The person on the dragon horse was a dragon controlling gods called Chu Baoqing. Chun Xiang immediately described the person he saw to He Fengyuan. It's the dragon controlling gods. He Fengyuan screamed loudly inside the six realms mirrors. Is this the dragon controlling gods? It really is terrifying. I don't know if he will be able to discover me or not. Chun Xiang was hiding right now. He did not want to fight with this dragon controlling gods. Chu Baoqing, who was in the air, arrived and looked down at the three mountains. The dragon aura around his body suddenly disappeared, and I can't sense it anymore. When Chun Xiang saw Chu Baoqing floating in the air, he was extremely nervous. This dragon controlling gods gave him a very strong pressure, one that was much stronger than the He Fengyuan he had defeated before. These dragon controlling gods have a technique that specializes in dealing with the dragon power in your body. If you fight against him, it would be best for you to avoid using the dragon power. He Fengyuan said, right now, you must avoid any conflicts with him. I admit that your strength is not bad. Even if you face a peak Aoshi holy stage, you won't lose if you can't win. If you were to face the dragon controlling gods, then you wouldn't be able to unleash that kind of power. Well, I'll try to avoid him. Chun Xiang stood there quietly. As long as no one could sense him, he was safe. It's a game of cat and mouse. I want to play it the most. Chu Baoqing chuckled, then patted the black dragon horse's head and said, let's go. We'll go find that mouse. The dragon horse landed on top of a mountain, which was precisely the mountain that Chun Xiang resided on. We're close. This guy knows where I am. Chun Xiang was shocked. Just as he was about to think of a countermeasure, the dragon horse that just landed on the ground seemed to have discovered him and suddenly leaped up, landing near Chun Xiang. The dragon horse landed on the ground and cried out. A burst of qi came out from its body and cut off all the surrounding trees. What a strange power. It can actually make you invisible. Humph. But I've already seen you, Chu Baoqing said with a sneer. Just now, the aura the black dragon horse released caused the counterpower on Chun Xiang's body to fluctuate. Chun Xiang immediately teleported a distance away, but he did not expect that the group of dragon horse would catch up to him with a leap. Chu Baoqing threw out an array disc and released a barrier, preventing Chun Xiang from using teleportation. He even knows about the power of space, haha. Chu Baoqing laughed loudly, as if he was extremely excited. As matters stood, Chun Xiang no longer planned to hide. After he appeared, his face became serious and the six realms mirrors had already fused with the heavenly magic sword. There's no escape? Little mouse. After Chu Baoqing got off the horse, he took out a black long blade. On the handle of the blade, there was a black dragon with red eyes. "Are you here to capture me?" Xianxia asked. "No, I'm here to kill you." Chu Baoqing laughed disdainfully. "Little mouse, I'm from the dragon-controlling gods. I'm here specifically to deal with people like you. Why are you doing this to me?" Xianxia's voice was ice-cold. This fellow actually called him Little Rat, which made him very angry. "Because a mouse like you is not fit to have a dragon. The dragons you cultivate out will all belong to our dragon-controlling palace. If you possess a dragon, you must die, because you are tarnishing our dragon-controlling palace." When Chu Baoqing said these words, his voice was filled with hostility and iciness. "Nonsense. What does the fact that I am able to produce a dragon from my cultivation have anything to do with your dragon-controlling palace? You bunch of idiots are just jealous that someone else can cultivate to become a dragon. You guys are the kind of rats that keep saying that other people are mice, and you guys are the kind of rats that specialize in stealing." Xianxia was also filled with anger. All these dragon-controlling gods were too unreasonable. He had always thought that there was some sort of enmity between the dragon-controlling palace and the dragon, but he never thought that the dragon-controlling palace coming to deal with him actually for this reason. "What did you say?" Chu Baoqing had never met anyone who dared to defile their dragon-controlling palace. "I say, you dragon-controlling palace seem to want to establish a memorial archway. You obviously want to steal someone else's dragon, but you still have to find a bunch of lousy reasons. Do you think you want to establish a memorial archway or not?" Xianxia unceremoniously sneered. "Bastard! Whoever dares to insult my dragon-controlling palace will die." Chu Baoqing roared. The purple chi on his body surged. The angry dragon's roar erupted from his body. In the blink of an eye, he had changed his appearance. Chu Baoqing had become a half-human, half-dragon. His body was covered with purple scales. His body had also grown a lot larger. On his body, arms and legs were all purple dragon scales. He looked like a very strong defense. This guy! He originally only had the strength of a peak Aoshi holy stage, but after the power of a dragon fused with his own, he actually surpassed Aoshi holy stage. Xianxia was secretly shocked. This was the world-defying stage divine rank. "Damned mouse! The one that deserves to die is you." Chu Baoqing let out a loud roar, and suddenly 10 small purple dragons suddenly appeared on the ground. These small dragons were like ropes, binding Xianxia's body and body. Xianxia was shocked. These small dragons were real dragons. He now knew that dragon-controlling gods had many dragons on him. No wonder he was called dragon-controlling gods. "Die!" Chu Baoqing immediately flew over, wanting to punch Xianxia in the chest. Unexpectedly, Xianxia suddenly turned into a cloud of mist and broke free of the purple dragon's restraints. After Xianxia broke free, he threw a large pile of Crystal Emperor into the mouth of the roaring dragon. After the Crystal Emperor entered into the mouth of the dragon, under Xianxia's control, all of the dragon's heads exploded and were lost. And with Chu Baoqing right beside these small dragons, the explosion of more than 10 Crystal Emperor had also caused him a certain amount of damage. In addition to the deaths of more than 10 small dragons, it had also caused quite a bit of impact on him. Roar! Chu Baoqing was furious. He had never suffered such a loss. Following his furious roar, purple streaks of lightning and thunder continuously descended from the sky, covering this entire mountain. In the blink of an eye, countless bolts of lightning fell to the ground. All the trees were instantly destroyed and turned into charcoal. They were then blasted away by the thunderous sound waves, falling into the bloody mud. Xianxia had caused the 6 realms mirrors to return to its original state just now, blocking the descending bolts of lightning. Otherwise, he would have been severely injured by the lightning. When Chu Baoqing saw that Xianxia was actually able to resist in the torrential storm of lightning, he became even more furious and rushed towards Xianxia like a bolt of lightning. His 2 fists became 2 dragon heads as he gave a series of violent and chaotic punches to Xianxia, causing a large shadow of a fist to appear, shrouding Xianxia within. "Go die, die, die!" Chu Baoqing violently punched and roared at the same time, his fists extremely ferocious. Every time he punched out, the winds generated from his punches were like a hurricane. The resulting tremors caused the mountains to tremble, and the resulting tremors caused the blood and mud to move up and down. Even though Xianxia had the 6 realms mirrors to block it, he could only block the wild thunder, and the wild thunder was still falling nonstop. It was difficult for him to avoid Chu Baoqing's fist that suddenly, and his body suffered hundreds of punches in an instant. If not for him allowing the red fire dragon to fuse with him, the hundreds of punches just now would have turned him into meat paste. This Chu Baoqing's strength was extremely terrifying. Lightning Conversion Array. Open. Xianxia controlled the 6 realms mirrors to release a lightning formation that floated above his head. After that, he endured the pain from his body and swung the 6 realms mirrors up with great force. Bang! 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 Chu Baoqing's fist suddenly smashed onto the 6 realms mirror's body many times. The force of his punch rebounded back several times and charged towards Chu Baoqing. Chu Baoqing was unable to react in time. He was sent flying by his own fist force and his body was in extreme pain. His fist had been infused with a very strong purple thunder divine inherent skill. He knew best when he was hit by it. He was injured by his own strength. Thinking about that, Chu Baoqing was so angry that his entire body was trembling. The purple lightning that erupted at will became even more violent. I won't accompany you any longer. Seeing that Chu Baoqing's injuries weren't serious, Xianxia immediately rushed towards the black dragon horse and sealed it in a space inside the 6 realms mirrors. Then, he let the 6 realms mirrors release a wave of energy and broke the array disk. Furthermore, Xianxia's movements were extremely fast. By the time he had caught up to Xianxia, the 6 realms mirrors had already drilled into the bloody mud, causing Chu Baoqing to be so angry that he could only roar out, "Motherfucker, I'm finally safe." Xianxia was inside the 6 realms mirrors, and he was sent flying by the 6 realms mirrors rebound. He had the chance to go over to attack, but after considering his own serious injuries and Chu Baoqing's strong defense, he gave up in the end. Otherwise, he would lose the best chance to escape. Fengyuan saw that Xianxia's entire body was riddled with wounds. It was unbelievable. Xianxia was actually able to escape from the hands of the dragon-controlling gods. What Fengyuan did not know was that Xianxia had made the dragon-controlling gods suffer a great loss. Just a mere dragon-controlling gods. What is there to be afraid of? If I were at the peak of Aoshi Holy Stage, I would definitely hang this guy up and beat him. Xianxia was extremely weak and snorted. I made him suffer a huge loss, so I took away his precious dragon horse. Was stunned. Dragon horse was the symbol of the dragon-controlling gods. Not only did it have a fast flying speed, it could also sense the location of other dragons and had a very strong perception. They were actually taken away by Xianxia. Xianxia felt that he was in so much pain from the beating that he received that he couldn't walk smoothly. At the same time, he also wanted those bullshit dragon-controlling gods to know that he, Xianxia, was not a character to be trifled with. Humph, that horse is not bad. Sooner or later, I will tame it. After Xianxia finished speaking, he laughed. I'm guessing that the transmission array was destroyed by that guy. It's not easy for him to return now. I want to see where he can go to find Dragon Horse. The Dragon Horse should be very important to the dragon-controlling gods, but I managed to capture them. Fengyuan was speechless. Xianxia could not win against her, but actually stole her horse. Xianxia let the Meijing sisters and the others release their power of regeneration to help him recover. This time, his injuries were more serious, and he stopped releasing the time domain during the battle to let Feng Kuo understand the Tao Creation's incantation. On that mountain, Luo Junfeng looked at the berserk and furious Chu Baoqing in utter speechlessness. Chu Baoqing was injured and was even injured by his own strength, but there was no problem with that. The biggest problem was that Chu Baoqing's horse was taken away smoothly. This damn rat! Chu Baoqing raised a huge boulder and threw it into the pool of blood. Damn the mirror! I hate the mirror! You missed! Luo Junfeng said. It's my turn now, wait for me here. I'll help you find your horse at that time. You don't have to thank me. After all, it's just a convenience. Hurry up and go. It's best if we can capture that guy alive. I want to torture him to death. Chu Baoqing shouted in anger. I'll try my best. Luo Junfeng rode on the black dragon horse and flew in the air. At this moment, he didn't know whether he could find Xianxia or not, because Chu Baoqing had seen Xianxia's 6 realms mirrors sinking into the pool of blood. The blood mud was very deep and there was still the terrifying blood devil shark below. He didn't dare to carelessly mess around with it. It all depends on luck. Luo Junfeng patted the dragon horse's head. Not only did Chu Baoqing lose precious dragon horse, those 10 over small dragons were also blown to death by Xianxia using Crystal Emperor. Even though he came from Tao Creation Place, he had never seen such a luxurious guy. Thinking about how he had suffered such a huge loss, Chu Baoqing's chest felt stuffy, and it was difficult for it to leak out, which made him feel extremely uncomfortable. Xianxia was in the 6 realms mirrors, while the 6 realms mirrors was deep in the pool of blood. If it was swallowed by the blood devil shark, it would also be very troublesome. However, he thought of a way. It would be to turn the 6 realms mirrors into a relatively large rock, with many sharp thorns emerging from the rock as well. Xianxia hid under the blood mud. For the time being he was safe. Luo Junfeng was hovering in the air, and although his dragon horse seemed to be able to sense that Xianxia was below the blood mud, it was unable to get down. I need to move to avoid being attacked by that guy up there. Xianxia controlled the 6 realms mirrors that had transformed into a thorny ball and moved swiftly below. He did not know how much energy this pool of blood actually contained to be able to produce so many blood devil shark, but right now he had encountered a group of blood devil shark. Blood devil shark had a special sensitivity. It could tell that the 6 realms mirrors was refined using the Tao Creation Holy Stone, and the Tao Creation Holy Stone had become very rare in the blood mud. When the blood devil shark approached, it opened its mouth wanting to swallow the 6 realms mirrors, but the 6 realms mirrors became a thorny ball. The thorns were extremely hard, and when it bit down, it directly pierced through the blood devil shark's mouth. The blood devil shark moved violently in pain, shaking its head and shaking off the 6 realms mirrors, causing it to flee in panic. All the nearby blood devil sharks saw this, and they were not stupid, so they knew that if they tried to bite it, they would definitely do the same as the blood devil shark. This move is really effective. Heaved a sigh of relief. He had to quickly recover from his injuries and activate Time Domain to let Feng Kuo quickly comprehend the space mantra, so that he could repair the array and head to Tao Creation Place. At this time, none of the blood devil shark had the guts to attack the 6 realms mirrors, and all of them stayed far away. Xianxia got the 6 realms mirrors to release a chain and bind one of the blood devil shark's tail. Just like that, the 6 realms mirrors was brought along by the blood devil shark to move quickly under the blood and mud. How did these dragon-controlling gods feel me? Xianxia was puzzled. What kind of special perception does that dragon horse possess? Xianxia came to the stone room of the 6 realms mirrors. There was a dragon horse sealed inside. Fengyuan followed Xianxia in. After personally seeing the dragon horse, only then did he confirm that he had really been caught by Xianxia. This dragon horse is not weak. Is your seal all right? Fengyuan stood at the door and did not dare enter. She was so weak, and if the dragon horse went crazy, even if he messed with her, she would suffer greatly. If only Yuqing was here, maybe she could figure it out. Bai Yuyu said as he came out of the Yu Yao mountain villa and looked at the dragon horse. Su Yuqing was proficient in this area, understanding how to dissolve contracts, or how to further refine souls. I want to subdue this dragon horse. Xianxia touched the sealed black dragon horse and said, I just saw that the dragon horse and master have a very strong contract power, and only master can break it. If Yuqing was here, she might have a way. Bai Yuyu shook his head. When Fengyuan saw Bai Yuyu's appearance, she knew that Xianxia had never been alone. Previously, there were Feng Kuo and young girl Danling, and now there was another cold and beautiful woman. This made her suspect that Xianxia had brought a lot of women with him. Sigh, I won't be able to get Yuqing here right now. Xianxia sighed. All I can do now is to use the gentlest possible method to search through the memories of this horse. Bai Yuyu said, All right, you can try and see if you can find a way to escape this. Also, see if I can make this guy submit to me. Xianxia said, This should be fine. I need some time, Bai Yuyu said. Chun Xiang walked out of the stone room and allowed Bai Yuyu to proceed quietly. Brat. When are you going to let me go back? He Feng Yuan frowned. I don't want to continue to risk my life with you. I can send you up now. Chun Xiang laughed. Isn't sending me up the mountain the same as sending me to my death? He Feng Yuan scoffed. I want you to send me back to heavenly proud imperial palace. Are you sure you want to go back? Chun Xiang asked. Do you regret this? Why should I regret it? He Feng Yuan thought about it and asked. Chun Xiang laughed out loud. Do you think that your father, King's father-in-law, has been under house arrest for so long? If nothing unexpected happens, your King's father-in-law father has already been captured. He Feng Yuan heard what Chun Xiang said and he laughed coldly. It seems like you do not understand heavenly proud imperial palace. My father was in charge of the Pill Palace in Heavenly Proud Imperial Palace, and he is also in charge of the sect himself. What a joke! Zhou Zhengyang is truly capable. He never would have let two of his precious daughters fall into my hands. Chun Xiang shook his head. That's only because Zhou Zhengyang didn't think that you would actually make a move against his daughter. He has always been indulging you, right? This is what I felt in the study room. Although I do not know him well, I know that he is not a person who likes to fight and only wants stability. Even if he were to be placed under house arrest, he would still think that it was nothing. Only then you took his daughter. He Feng Yuan snorted. I don't believe that Zhou Zhengyang has the ability to compete with my father. Okay, when I'm done here I will bring you back. By then, your father might already be dead. Chun Xiang said. On the surface, Zhou Zhengyang looks gentle and refined. But once he gets angry, it is very dangerous. When Chen Xiang was in the study room, he had already felt that Zhou Zhengyang was a person who pursued tranquility. As long as his peaceful days were not destroyed, he did not care about anything. Once it was destroyed, he would start a massacre. He Feng Yuan did not speak anymore. She realized that she still did not understand Zhou Zhengyang well enough, even though she was the queen. If you had not captured those two sisters, now you are safe, and perhaps you could have acquired the entire heavenly AO empire. Chun Xiang curled his lips. It's all because of you. I feel like Zhou Zhengyang had wanted to hand over the heavenly AO empire for a long time, so that he could live a peaceful life. Humph! He Feng Yuan snorted angrily, then squatted in the corner. Chun Xiang continued to heal his injuries and asked, Are you sure you want to go back now? Actually, it's useless even if you go back. It's better than following you everywhere and courting death. In the past few days, He Feng Yuan had gotten to know that Chun Xiang was a master who specialized in making trouble. Only by doing this will it become exciting. I like to challenge those kinds of people who think themselves to be powerful. At the very least, it's better than bullying the weak and bullying the weak. Chun Xiang laughed. When my injuries are better, I'll go ride along with another group of dragon horse and let that guy ride on there for a few more days. Aren't you afraid of the dragon controlling palace's revenge? He Feng Yuan never thought that Chun Xiang would actually want to do it again. It doesn't matter, since they have already set their eyes on me. Regardless of whether I snatch their dragon horse or not, they all want to kill me. So why not just fight them to the end? Chun Xiang sneered. After a few days, Chun Xiang's injuries were much better. He could now release time domain to Feng Kuo. Dragon horse have a special kind of inherent skill that can sense the existence of dragons. Even if it was hidden within your divine sense C, the dragon horse would still be able to sense some auras. Bai Yuyu said, as for how to avoid this, according to the memories in the dragon horse's mind, all you need to do is seal the dragon and let it fall into a deep sleep. It does not absorb the outside energy nor release itself. It's like a fake death, and that way you can avoid being tracked. He Feng Yuan said, Isn't this a little difficult? The power of dragons is very strong. Isn't letting a dragon sleep the same as sealing a part of one's power? That's good, but it can avoid being tracked. Just remove the seal when you need it. Bai Yuyu said, Feng Kuo should be able to make a pretty good array disk that would allow him to quickly seal the Azure Dragon. In his divine sense C, only the Azure Dragon needed to seal. Then, do you have such memories of taming dragon horse? Asked. This method made her feel that it was extremely mystical. Previously, Xianxia had also wanted to use it on her, but later on, because her soul was too weak, she did not do so. Killing the original owner of the dragon horse would be enough to dissolve the contract between them, and then tame the dragon horse. Bai Yu said, "It shouldn't be difficult to tame dragon horse. As long as you're strong enough, the dragon horse will recognize you." Fengyuan looked at Xianxia. She could tell that Xianxia was about to go seek death. As long as he was killed by Chu Baoqing, she would be able to obtain a dragon horse. Chu Baoqing did not have any dragon horse now, so when Xianxia killed more than 10 small dragons, his strength was greatly reduced. "You want to go?" Fengyuan asked anxiously. "Yes. Don't worry. I never do things that I'm not confident in." Xianxia giggled. For a dragon horse, no matter how dangerous, it's still worth a fight. Fengyuan had nothing to say. She could only pray that Xianxia could live. If not, she would die with him. In the days that followed, while Xianxia released the triple time field to allow Feng Kuo to comprehend the space mantra, he also refined a Crystal Emperor. This time, he refined the second level of the increase spell into the Crystal Emperor. Increased spells could increase their energy by several times. He first imbued the Crystal Emperor with the destructive power of Thunder Fire Burst, and then added a second layer of increased spell onto the rest of the incantations, increasing the power of the Thunder Fire Burst. Furthermore, the Crystal Emperor now were not piece by piece, but rather Dan King that had been compressed into the size of a thumb. Destruction Curse Pill. Xianxia looked at the refined Crystal Emperor and smiled slightly. Fengyuan had witnessed the entire process from the side. She had never thought that there was such a method of refining a pill. Not only could it be eaten, it could also be used to attack. It was equivalent to compressing an extremely strong energy into a very small pill, and once it exploded, its power would be limitless. Fengyuan had to admit, Xianxia's pill techniques were superb, and his train of thought in concocting pills was also very unpredictable. "Fighting is only my side business. Refining pills is my strong point." Xianxia looked at the shocked Fengyuan and chuckled. Fengyuan was very clear that the destruction curse pill refined by Xianxia would definitely be able to kill a lot of people, because no one knew how strong the power of the pill would be. "Now is the time for me to unleash the strongest power in the Alchemist." Xianxia took out a few more Crystal Emperors. Crystal Emperor itself contained a very rich amount of energy. After refining the Tao Creation incantation, it would be able to release an even stronger power from the Tao Creation incantation, so it was one of the best materials to refine an offensive pill. This is called the Ice Curse Pill. Xianxia then refined another pellet. This pellet mainly released ice-cold energy and was refined with the Ice Curse and Increase spell. This pellet had been carefully studied by him. If it exploded, the energy released would be concentrated in one place. It would have a better effect. If they were to explode and spread too far, it would be inappropriate for them to deal with a single person. If he was going to use it against many people, he would have another method to train it. Fengyuan was secretly rejoicing in her heart. Xianxia had only developed this pill after fighting with her. Otherwise, she would have been smashed to death by this pill while fighting with Xianxia. The last pill Xianxia refined was the Explosion Curse pill that mainly gathered the shaking power, and was also added into the Increase spell. Other than that, there was also a dense amount of Drunk God magical poison S in there. "It's about time. Let's use that arrogant guy to practice." Xianxia told Feng Kuo to stop comprehending the Tao Creation's incantation. In the past few days, Feng Kuo had passed through a few dozen years and had already made a huge progress. She was already familiar with the first stage of the Tao Creation's incantation, so she jumped over the second stage and started the third stage of the space mantra. She had already grasped 2 space mantra. "It's not too good to directly seal it. I have a better idea." Feng Kuo said, "Even if I created a 9-fold space domain using the space mantra that I had just learned, after 9 layers of space isolation, the green dragon's aura should not be detected by the dragon horse. Furthermore, when you need it, you can make the green dragon quickly come from the domain and release its power to fight for you. If I'm going to fake my death from the seal, I'll need a bit more time to awaken. I'll need a bit more time to recover my strength as well." Xianxia was shocked. "Then that's great. I'll use your method to try it." Feng Kuo laughed. If you use the second stage of time domain on me, I can refine a formation plate in a day. Xianxia immediately released her time domain on Feng Kuo. Feng Kuo had always been studying smithing and had learned quite well. The materials she used to create the array disk now were all crystal emperoress. The 3 young women's pills were able to condense crystal emperoress every day. In the end, Feng Kuo successfully completed the refinement. He immediately placed the formation plate under the Azure Dragon, forming a 9-fold space domain that concealed the Azure Dragon within. The 9-fold space was built layer by layer, with 9 consecutive levels. This way, there would be a very strong isolation, and it would not be easy to sense them. Xianxia thought back to when Chu Baoqing came to capture him. At that time, he had already become invisible, and although Chu Baoqing could not see him, the dragon horse could. That fellow should still be tracking me up there. I'll give it a try right now. Xianxia controlled the 6 realms mirrors to teleport above the sky and then walked out of the 6 realms mirrors himself and stood on top of it. At this time, both he and the 6 realms mirrors had become invisible and were flying towards Luo Junfeng, who had caught up to them. Luo Junfeng rode a dragon horse high up in the sky. After Xianxia flew below him, he didn't detect it in the slightest. This idiot. I'll let you ride on the dragon horse for a few more days. Xianxia silently thought as he watched Luo Junfeng hop around in the sky while riding on a dragon horse. Then he flew towards those 3 strange mountains. He Fengyuan, who was inside the 6 realms mirrors, knew that Xianxia had succeeded, and was a lot more at ease. This way, Xianxia would no longer be tracked by the dragon-controlling gods, and as long as Xianxia was safe, she would be fine. He Fengyuan was very gloomy. She did not know why Xianxia wanted to bring her along, nor did she want her to go back. She felt that Xianxia was deliberately tormenting her, torturing her with his spirit, because she was very angry whenever she saw Xianxia. Xianxia quickly returned to those 3 strange mountains. He sent out his heaven-devouring rat to search for the hidden Chu Baoqing. He determined that Chu Baoqing would definitely stay there and wait for Luo Junfeng's return. Xianxia could not use the power of the red fire dragon, so he himself could not fly high in the sky either, and could only control the 6 realms mirrors to fly at a low altitude. The heaven-devouring rat quickly found a mountain cave that they seemed to have just dug. Crawl in and take a look. Is that idiot in there? Xianxia controlled the heaven-devouring rat to enter. Not long after, he heard Chu Baoqing's angry roar. Damn those damn rats! I hate them the most! Chu Baoqing roared angrily, and threw a punch at the heaven-devouring rat. But the heaven-devouring rat avoided it agilely, and then crawled out of the mountain cave. Xianxia couldn't help but laugh. Before, he was just a mouse in Chu Baoqing's eyes, but he had actually succeeded in taking away Chu Baoqing's dragon horse and even caused Chu Baoqing to become extremely miserable. If this news spread to the dragon-controlling palace, Chu Baoqing would definitely lose a lot of face. After Chu Baoqing chased the heaven-devouring rat out of the cave, Xianxia immediately threw out a frozen end curse pill. The ice seal incantation instantly devoured the entire Crystal Emperor's energy, turning it into a powerful icy cold power. However, it was also instantly strengthened a lot by the increased spell. An extremely terrifying freezing power instantly exploded out, covering only a radius of 4 to 5 zhang. The moment Chu Baoqing rushed out of the cave, he was frozen by the wave of icy cold power and couldn't move at all. However, the moment he was frozen, the thick layer of ice loosened. He was truly worthy of being a dragon-controlling gods and was very strong. Just as Xianxia was about to break the ice seal, he immediately threw another destruction curse pill down. With a honglong sound, a large piece of the mountain was blasted apart. Huge boulders flew up into the air and rolled about. The destruction incantation pill instantly exploded right beside Chu Baoqing. The explosive impact shattered the thick ice, and the lightning and fire, together with the shaking power, struck into Chu Baoqing's body, dispersing all the energy Chu Baoqing had just suppressed. The violent lightning bolts sprung forth crazily, the ferocious flames burning as they gathered around Chu Baoqing. Damn rat! I know it's you! Chu Baoqing was immediately enraged. He had killed more than 10 small dragons in this way, but the power this time was even more violent. Chu Baoqing's entire body was filled with wounds, entangled with wild thunder and fire. And after he got rid of the wild thunder and fire, Xianxia threw out another explosive curse pill, and the shaking power along with the large amount of drunk god magical poison poured into Chu Baoqing's body. To deal with someone like Chu Baoqing, who could transform into a dragon, would need a very large amount of drunk god magical poison. This was the third time Chu Baoqing suffered from this kind of attack, and his anger soared to the skies. He knew that Xianxia was very weak and he almost got killed by him, but to think that he would actually use such a method to make him look so pathetic. He hated Xianxia so much that his teeth itched, yet he was unable to find her. Xianxia finally appeared, holding the 6 realms mirrors in his hand like a shield. He looked at Chu Baoqing through the mirror. Dragon controlling gods? I think you're an imperial insect pig. Xianxia laughed out loud. Damned rat! Die! Chu Baoqing released a burst of energy towards Xianxia, but it was extremely weak. Xianxia used his 6 realms mirrors to directly block it. The rebound force was very strong. It struck onto Chu Baoqing's body and stimulated him to fly out. Chu Baoqing knew that he had been poisoned, and this poison was extremely strange, causing him to be unable to bring out his strength. Seeing Xianxia coming over with a smile on his face, he couldn't help but feel fear. Master Dragon controlling gods, you're about to die. Do you have anything to say? Xianxia whistled and looked at Chu Baoqing, who had fallen amidst the messy rocks and flames. You killed the dragon controlling gods, so you want to oppose the dragon controlling palace? Chu Baoqing said with fear and exhausted all of his strength. Oh? If you want to take away my dragon, you will be going against me. If you want to go against me, there is only death, no matter what hall you come from. As for going against the dragon-controlling palace, I am not afraid. If they come to find trouble with me, I will kill all of them like I killed a stupid pig like you. Xianxia swung his 6 realms mirrors, smashing down at Chu Baoqing violently. Just like this, the dragon-controlling god's Chu Baoqing was slapped to death with a big cake like 6 realms mirrors, probably making him the most useless of dragon-controlling gods. After getting rid of the dragon-controlling gods, Xianxia threw the corpse inside the 6 realms mirrors, and then himself also entered the 6 realms mirrors, heading towards the strange mountain to continue inspecting it. Last time, before he even started to investigate, Chu Baoqing, the pig, suddenly appeared. How is it? This is the dragon-controlling gods that you think is very powerful. Xianxia pointed to the corpses in the room. When Fengyuan looked at dragon-controlling gods, he was speechless. Dragon-controlling gods had done a lot to her father, yet he was actually killed by Xianxia, a late-stage Aoshi holy stage. Consider yourself strong. But you only killed him by sneaking around. Fengyuan was full of admiration in his heart, but on the surface, he did not admit it. True experts do not fear sneaky methods. Xianxia laughed. So this guy is just a stupid pig. Otherwise, how would he be killed by me? You just wait and see. I will use this method to get rid of the other pig. This group of fellows are usually quite rampant, so let me teach them a lesson. Xianxia proudly entered the stone room that sealed the dragon horse, and immediately threw Chu Baoqing's corpse there. At this time, the dragon horse was free, and had already cancelled the contract with Chu Baoqing. This dragon horse is much stronger than this guy. Xianxia whistled to the dragon horse and then asked by Yuyu what this dragon horse liked to eat the most. Dragon horse prefer to eat beast meat. If there is none, myriad Tao divine soil crystals are fine too. I recommend that you give them a piece or two from time to time. Bai Yuyu said. The dragon horse had a fast flying speed and it also had a certain level of combat strength. It was an excellent mount. After Luo Junfeng was unable to find Xianxia, he started to become suspicious, because logically, dragon horse should be able to feel it. However, the dragon horse suddenly lost its sense, meaning that Xianxia had already found a way to avoid the tracking. This was the first time Luo Junfeng had heard of someone successfully avoiding the dragon horse's pursuit, because even if the divine sense sees dragon slumber seal was used, the dragon horse would still be able to feel it, unless the dragon was gone. This kid is very weird. I have to be careful. Luo Junfeng looked behind him. then rode on his dragon horse and quickly flew over. He suddenly felt that Xianxia would return to those 3 strange mountains. Xianxia knew that these 3 strange mountains were not simple, otherwise, it would not have been possible for so many trees to grow here. He remembered that the last time he fought with Chu Baoqing, he destroyed a lot of the trees here. What exactly is inside this strange mountain? How could the trees in the 3 mountains sustain such a strong life force? Xianxia rode on his 6 realms mirrors and flew through the forest in the middle of the strange mountain, searching for the source of the life force that was being released. Although the strange mountain had a lot of huge trees that reached the sky, there were no beasts inside. They were all plants. Xianxia had been flying in there for quite a while now and he did not even see a single bug. These trees should have grown up recently. They are not old trees. Jiang Xijing came out from the Yu Yao mountain villa and looked at the trees here. Only she and Jiang Ximei could see more things from them. Xijing, can you communicate with these trees? Xianxia asked. I want to find the source. I think that place should be pretty good. That's no problem at all. I need a little time. Just wait patiently. Jiang Xijing placed his hand on the tree trunk, then closed his eyes and began to communicate with the tree. Not long after, Jiang Xijing reaped some rewards. Got it. I really never thought that there would be such a magical thing here. Jiang Xijing was also very excited. Her face was filled with a happy smile, as if she was extremely interested in that mysterious object. What magical thing? Xianxia asked anxiously. Are we here? It's here. Jiang Xijing hurriedly nodded. Actually, it's only a very, very small thing. It should be a seed. And when that seed appeared on the 3 desolate mountains, it released a mysterious power, nourishing the 3 mountains. And then, the mountain gave birth to many trees. It was a miraculous seed that changed these 3 mountains. Where is it? I'll go take a look now. Xianxia said. Good. I'll tell you where. Jiang Xijing was also really looking forward to Xianxia finding that seed. After Xianxia found out about a direction, he immediately urged his 6 realms mirrors and flew over with his fastest speed. Very quickly, Xianxia arrived at the belly of a mountain. The seed was inside. He had dug a cave and entered. The seed was connected to a huge rock. He did not know why this seed suddenly appeared here. It was extremely miraculous that it was able to give birth to so many trees in these 3 mountains. When Xianxia saw the seed, he immediately walked over, wanting to take it away. However, just as his fingers were about to touch it, the seed suddenly flashed and released a green light. The light was accompanied by a gentle breeze, and when it was released towards Xianxia, he could not help but shiver, and felt a very strange energy enter his body. What's going on? Xianxia felt that he was suddenly unable to move. What was even more bizarre was that the light emitted by the seed immediately dimmed, becoming extremely calm, while Xianxia remained motionless at the same place. No matter how much power he released, he was unable to escape from his body. He was trapped by a strange force. Even counter-power cannot be used. Xianxia could feel that any kind of power could flow within his body, but he couldn't release it from his body. He didn't know why, but his body couldn't move either. Xianxia started to worry. He couldn't move his body and he couldn't release his power at all. Once someone came here, he would become extremely dangerous. Worried about what might come next, Xianxia suddenly heard footsteps, and as expected, someone came over. Damn it, who is going to come? Xianxia originally planned to release the girls from Yu Yao Mountain Villa to help him, but he was worried that those girls would also be confined, so it would become even more dangerous. He tried to release the mouse man, but seeing that someone was coming over, he quickly recalled the mouse man. Soon, that person approached. You're actually here? Where's Chu Baoqing? Luo Junfeng couldn't help but be happy in his heart when he saw Xianxia standing there. It was because he saw that Xianxia couldn't move and there wasn't any fluctuation of aura on his body. I don't know anyone called Chu Baoqing. Who are you? Get out of my way, don't disturb my rest. I opened this cave myself, so if you need one, you can get one yourself. Xianxia said coldly. He obviously knew who this person was. This person was also a powerful dragon controlling gods, and he looked to be much stronger than Chu Baoqing. Hee hee. Are you trying to scare me? Luo Junfeng walked in and also discovered the seed. His heart couldn't help but shiver. He suddenly remembered where the strong vitality of these three strange mountains came from. It was from this seed. When Luo Junfeng saw that Xianxiang's fingers were touching the plant, without moving an inch, he was sure that Xianxiang was absorbing the seed's energy. This is mine. Luo Junfeng took out a black long blade and was about to cut down on Xianxiang. Xianxiang's heart broke out in cold sweat, but he reacted quickly and released a mouse man, allowing him to touch the seed. When the seed of the god equipment sensed that someone was touching it, it immediately released that strange and terrifying light white glow. This light was just like before, accompanied by a light breeze. When Luo Junfeng, who was chopping down with his blade, was hit by the wind, his body froze and he could not move at all. He was extremely shocked in his heart and shouted out, "You bastard! What did you do?" What was inconceivable to Xianxiang was that after he was hit by the light clouds and light breeze again, he could actually move. "Ha! I don't know what's going on either." Xianxiang looked back at the unmoving Luo Junfeng, who was slashing down with his blade, and was extremely happy. Luo Junfeng immediately understood that the strange light ray just now was able to cause people to be unable to move. Just now, Xianxiang had accidentally triggered that light ray, and after he arrived, Xianxiang had released another person to trigger the light beam. The second time Xianxiang was hit by the light, he would be able to recover back to normal and move. "Fuck you. You actually want to kill me." Xianxiang's palm kept on hitting Luo Junfeng's face until it started to crack. Although Luo Junfeng was unable to move, he could still feel the pain and humiliation. He, Luo Junfeng, a dignified dragon controlling gods, was actually slapped by such a fellow. "You can't kill me," Luo Junfeng anxiously shouted. But just as he finished shouting, Xianxiang swung the 6 realms mirrors and easily killed him. Luo Junfeng was not the first dragon controlling gods to be beaten to death like that by Xianxiang. Chu Baoqing was the first. However, Luo Junfeng died with even more grievances than Chu Baoqing, because when he entered the cave he was baffled. He had not even spoken a few words with Xianxiang before he was beaten to death by Xianxiang. Access. This guy is stronger than Chu Baoqing. Xianxiang looked at the dead Luo Junfeng and took a deep breath. But he's easier to deal with than Chu Baoqing. At least Chu Baoqing had used up 3 of the curse pills refined with Crystal Emperoress, as well as a large number of drunk god magical poisoness. However, Luo Junfeng had only used up 1 mouse man of his, and he was already smacked to death. A dragon controlling gods was killed just like that. No one would believe it even if they told others. He Fengyuan believed that because she saw it with her own eyes. She could not believe what she saw with her own eyes. It was easier for Xianxiang to kill than to kill a dog. "The dragon in my body is still alive. It's mine now." Xianxiang checked and found that there were actually 2 large dragons in Luo Junfeng's body. These 2 large dragons were blue-colored lightning dragons, and the rest were around 10 small lightning dragons. Xianxiang handed over her corpse to Bai Yuyu, and had her work with Long Shui to see if they can get the dragon inside out. Also, he had given the previous Chu Baoqing over to Bai Yuyu. All along, it had always been the dragon-controlling gods who stole someone else's dragon. Now that they were robbed, it should be a very rare occurrence. Xianxiang ran out of the cave and saw a black-colored dragon horse outside. He immediately released the 6 realms mirrors and sealed the horse inside a stone room of the 6 realms mirrors. He had reaped a huge harvest this time and got another batch of dragon horse. Dance ebook. There are almost all of it. It is much more stable than the average station. It is even faster with updates. There are no ads in the entire text. This thing is really hard to deal with. Xianxiang returned to the depths of the mountain cave once again and looked at the mysterious seed. Now, he was sure that this seed had a very strong consciousness of self-protection. Otherwise, it wouldn't have released that kind of light. What should I do? Xianxiang really wanted to take the seed away, but he couldn't touch the seed at the moment. Xianxiang paced around the cave, and in the end, Jiang Sime gave him an idea. He wanted him to use his innate power to test the seed, to see if he could establish a connection with it or not. Chen Xiang tried to carry it out for a while but to no avail. He then tried to bleed it out but it was useless. You need a certain amount of time to use spirit. You must be a little patient. Jiang Sime scoffed. We can't give up halfway. Continue quickly. Chen Xiang could only continue. After trying for 2 days, he suddenly felt a subtle change. Even though he couldn't establish a connection with such a child, he had at least made a breakthrough. Chen Xiang continued to release even stronger, exquisite, divine powers. Not long later, the seed began to emit a strong light. The light that it released this time was completely different from the light it released previously. The light this time was very strong, and it was gold-colored. It stung Chen Xiang's eyes, and this time he was not frozen in place. The mouse man that was previously frozen could now move as well. The seed has come out from the crevice. Chen Xiang could feel the seed moving. He was pleasantly surprised, and immediately reached out to grab it. His worries were unnecessary. This miraculous seed no longer released that kind of light. It merely released a faint warmth, and laid on the palm of Chen Xiang's hand. So it was to absorb my spirit power, and acknowledge my power. Chen Xiang smiled slightly, then placed the seed into the Yu Yao mountain villa, letting them try to see if they could grow something out of it. This seed is very magical. Let's try and see if we can excavate the strange energy of this seed. Chen Xiang said. The seed's peculiar energy was enough to lock a person in place for some baffling reason. Even a strong dragon controlling gods like Luo Junfeng was firmly rooted in place without being able to move. Chen Xiang came out to lead the way, but the trees here were still full of life and vitality. Even though he had taken away the seed, it did not affect the trees here at all. Chen Xiang came out of the cave and arrived at a quiet place to release Chu Baoqing's dragon horse. Right now, he had to tame this dragon horse. It was a very good mount. Taming the dragon horse was an extremely easy task for Chen Xiang. He had only caught 2 blood devil shark and brought them up, allowing the 2 dragon horse to eat their fill before the dragon horse consciously pledged its allegiance to Chen Xiang. After that, Chen Xiang caught many more blood devil shark. Chen Xiang allowed the 6 realms mirrors to become a huge net, and it was very easy for him to grab a large group of blood devil shark. There were a few hundred of them, all being sealed by Feng Kuer and reared in a lake in the Yu Yao mountain villa. Xiao Kuer, it's all up to you now, Chen Xiang said. Right now, he only needed to wait for Feng Kuer to master the space mantra and repair the broken transmission array. At this time, Chen Xiang was riding on a dragon horse, happily jumping in the air, returning to the heavenly Ao Empire. He did not go directly to the heavenly proud imperial palace, but instead came to a city in the heavenly Ao Empire to inquire about some things. As he expected, Zhou Zhengyang really did launch a fierce counterattack, taking down the entire group of King's father-in-law. Poison woman, did you hear that? Chen Xiang was now walking on the road with He Fengyuan. Humph! He Fengyuan was very unhappy. She was actually tricked by Zhou Zhengyang for such a long time. I'll send you back to the palace. Chen Xiang laughed. I'm not going back. If I go back now, Zhou Zhengyang will definitely kill me. What's the point in going back? He Fengyuan's face was filled with anger. She had wanted to go back before, but Chen Xiang refused to give her back no matter what. Now that her father changed and Chen Xiang wanted to send her back, it was obvious that it was on purpose. If you're not going back, then where are you going? Chen Xiang grinned and said, with your current strength, it's extremely dangerous. Furthermore, your looks are not bad. If you were to fall into the hands of some true bastards, ha ha ha. He Fengyuan was immediately and violently enraged, and fiercely stepped on Chen Xiang. But with her strength, she simply could not step on Chen Xiang. You bastard! Tell me honestly, what value do you think I have in your eyes? He Fengyuan had always misunderstood her. Are you going to make use of me to make fun of me? Of course not, you have mastered some knowledge regarding medicinal pills. You seem to know quite a lot, and it is a pretty good tool for me. Wait until I go to Tao Creation Place, you might be able to use it greatly. Chen Xiang laughed. He Fengyuan suddenly felt a surge of qi from her dantian, which he was unable to release. Chen Xiang had actually said that she was a tool. even though she knew that Xianxia was using her. If she were to say it out loud, it was clear that he was going to anger her. What? You're not willing? Xianxia laughed, then walked himself, and no longer paid any attention to Yifengyuan. Yifengyuan stomped her feet fiercely and quickly followed along. Since she had no one to rely on, she could only endure and wait for Xianxia, the demon, to recover. Are you really not going back to Imperial Palace? Zhou Xingyang might let you go, you're already a piece of trash. Xianxia said. I won't go back. You don't know what's going on between him and me. Yifengyuan said coldly. No matter what, you all already have children? As Xianxia said this, he suddenly remembered that the child between them was already the second prince, and had already been killed by him. Looking at Xianxia's expression, Yifengyuan seemed to know what he was thinking. He sneered. That second prince was stolen by me, and he wasn't me and his child. He is also clear about this matter. The second prince is going to inherit the throne in the future. Is he going to ignore us like this? Xianxia was very surprised. That's why I always thought that Zhou Xingyang was a coward. I feel that if you didn't suddenly come out to cause trouble, I might be able to take over the Imperial Palace in the future. As Yifengyuan talked about this matter, he fiercely glared at Xianxia. Xianxia shook his head. The marriage between Zhou Xingyang and I was mainly forced by my father. Originally, it was the mother of those 5 girls who wanted to become the empress. But because of my father's strength, the heavenly proud empress was my role. Yifengyuan said. All right, you guys really know how to play. At this moment, they had already left the city. Now he also understood why Zhou Xingyang wanted him to kill Yifengyuan back then, since Zhou Xingyang also hated him to the bones, but they were together now. How many medicinal pills did you inherit from your father? Xianxia asked. Is there any use in going to the Tao creation place? Of course it's useful. My father was able to refine a prideful divine rank pill, and there are many prideful divine rank pills in the Tao creation place. My knowledge will definitely help you, this little bastard. Yifengyuan also knew that Xianxia did not know much about high-level pellets, but he was an alchemist with great potential. Xianxia let Yifengyuan enter the 6 realms mirrors. Then he rode the dragon horse and rushed to the bloody plains, arriving at Oxhead Mountain, where he patiently waited for Fengkuer's success. Xianxia felt that he had nothing better to do, so he went to catch Blood Devil Shark S. Blood Devil Shark S could be said to be treasures, and his divine sense sea world was very big. This bloody plains is really strong. It can give birth to so many Blood Devil Shark. Xianxia had already captured quite a few Blood Devil Shark, but there were still many of them here. When the Blood Mud Plains was very old, it contained a large amount of Tao creation holy stone S and sacred crystals, so this blood paste had a lot of energy. These Blood Devil Shark all evolved from Madness Soul that woke up early, and later on they multiplied and ate a large number of Tao creation holy stone. Only after a long time did they become so strong. Yifengyuan said. Oh right. Why can't I see any Madness Soul here? Isn't this the world-defying stage Soul River of the 5th floor? Xianxia asked. There are very few Madness Soul on the 5th floor, and the world-defying stage Soul River has long since dried up. Even if there are Madness Soul S, they would hide very well and not be found that easily. Yifengyuan felt that he was very lucky to have obtained the Space Holy Soul, but his cultivation had been crippled by Xianxia. The 5th floor's world-defying stage Soul River was already very high, and there were indeed very few world-defying stage Fierce Soul. After a few days, Fengkuer spent another 70 years inside the triple time field, and had already successfully comprehended the 3rd stage of Space Mantra. Although there were not many 9 Space Mantra, it still took Fengkuer more than 700 years to master them. Xianxia hurriedly returned to the Oxhead Mountain stone room. Fengkuer came out from the Yu Yao Mountain villa, held a piece of Crystal Emperor and said, I want to borrow Crystal Emperor to repair it. It won't take long. Fengkuer used her mysterious golden needle to extract some powder from the Crystal Emperor's body. Then, she used her proud power to condense a space mantra, merging the Crystal Emperor powder into the body of the Crystal Emperor. Finally, she covered the damaged parts of the transmission array and perfectly fit the broken Tao creation incantation. Fengkuer healed very quickly. In just 3 days, the transmission array was repaired. It would be best to use 15 crystal emperors. Feng Kuo said. This time, we'll need a bit more crystal emperor, but to be stable. No problem. Xianxia took out 15 pieces of crystal emperor and asked Feng Kuo to place them. Originally, there weren't many grooves where the crystal emperor was placed, but Feng Kuo was extremely knowledgeable about formations and knew where it was placed so that it could be absorbed by the transmission array. Xianxia was extremely at ease with Feng Kuo. Feng Kuo was originally a spirit nurtured by the array formation, so he naturally had a very good grasp of these things. There were many spirit formations in the world, but it was not easy to produce a spirit. It was a very rare coincidence. Prepare yourself, you can activate the transmission array. Don't be like last time, The last time Xianxia was here, he had met Zhou Ziqin and the other 2 sisters. Actually, it's fine to do it again. Last time, I didn't see anything. Xianxia laughed sinisterly. However, he needed to prepare even more. If he were to be transported to a soul beast nest and encounter powerful soul beasts, then it would be very dangerous. He took a few deep breaths, held on to the 6 realms mirrors, and activated the transmission array. Fengyuan, who was inside the 6 realms mirrors, was also very nervous because her current strength was extremely low and she was actually going to the Tao creation place. She, too, did not know what her future was going to be like. If the dragon-controlling palace knew that Xianxia had killed 2 dragon-controlling gods, he would definitely be hunted down. This was what Fengyuan was more worried about. The teleportation process came to an end very quickly. He immediately concealed himself and then used the Dao Heart Eye to observe his surroundings. He was surprised to discover that the situation here was extremely strange. There was originally a very strong flame energy, but it had been sealed up, and the flame was sealed with the power of ice. Whatever. Let's get out of here first. Xianxia tried to use the power of space here. Although this place was already the Tao creation place, he had the space holy soul and could break through the spatial laws here. It wouldn't be as smooth as before. After Xianxia teleported out, he arrived at a place of light. It was a world of ice and snow outside, but he didn't expect that the place he was at just now was actually inside the body of a gigantic beast. This black tortoise? The fire Xian Wu beast? Xianxia was very surprised as he looked at the gigantic tortoise that had turned into an ice mountain